I'm Tracy Baxter with today's Record Newswatch. It's good news for the so-called Monroe Madam. The State Appellate Division took action today to dramatically lower the bail figure for Anna Gristina, the Monroe resident who faces a promotion of prostitution charge for allegedly running a high-end call girl ring complete with law enforcement protection. Bail was originally set at $1 million cash. Today, the Appellate Division dropped that to $125,000 cash or $250,000 bond for the Monroe mother of four, who has been at Rikers Island since her arrest earlier this year. The bail appeal was written by Gristina's former lawyer, Chester attorney Gary Greenwood, who hailed today's decision. The appellate court panel said the original $1 million bail figure was unreasonable and a, quote, abuse of discretion. A Sullivan County teenager today pleaded guilty to charges connected to a car crash last December that took the life of one of his teenage passengers. 18-year-old Charles Wolf of Barryville pleaded guilty in Sullivan County Court to felony vehicular manslaughter, as well as a misdemeanor charge of driving while ability impaired by alcohol. During the early morning hours of December 20th, Wolf's car went out of control and hit a tree along Herring Road in the town of Lumberland. The crash took the life of 18-year-old Kyle McKechnie of Westfield, New Jersey, Wolf's cousin. Two others, 19-year-old Brian Kennedy of Monticello and 19-year-old Emily Huffman of Eldred, were seriously hurt in the crash. When he's sentenced August 30th, Wolf could get a minimum of probation or a maximum of 7 years in prison. Tomorrow's the day of a hearing by the State Department of Ag and Markets. It'll determine whether the town of Thompson Walmart's food processing license should be revoked following another failed sanitary inspection, the fifth failed inspection since January. Inspectors say most of the violations have involved a rodent infestation. The hearing could result in the temporary closure of the Walmart deli, bakery, and other departments where food's handled. There was word that employees were working around the clock to clean up the store following the latest failed inspection. Sullivan County Manager David Fanslow has appealed to Walmart's corporate officials to get involved, citing the store's importance to the county's summer season economy. Saying she has dropped the ball when it comes to helping the region's farmers, Congressional hopeful Richard Becker held a news conference at the town of Goshen Black Dirt Farm of Jeff and Adina Bialis, where he said the current 19th District Republican Congresswoman Nan Hayworth has a failed record of helping the area farming community, pointing specifically to the aftermath of last year's Hurricane Irene and Tropical Storm Lee.
She hasn't shown courage and she hasn't been a leader. The most dramatic example was that her stance on disaster relief after Hurricane Irene and Tropical Storm Lee. Last year, Eric Cantor made an unprecedented and outrageous demand that before he'd fund emergency disaster relief for storm victims, he'd have to cut lots of spending elsewhere in the budget that he didn't like. During multiple media appearances, Nan Hayworth seconded that call. People's homes and farms and businesses, including this one, were underwater.
Becker, a cardiologist from Westchester County, says farmers need a standalone crop loss program to help them survive rather than having to wait for a federal farm aid bill to wend its way through Congress. To run against Hayworth, Becker will need to win the June 26 Democratic primary that also features Tuxedo Park Mayor Tom Wilson, businessman Dwayne Jackson, former Clinton advisor Sean Patrick Maloney, and Wappingers Falls Mayor Matt Alexander. State police based in Wurtsboro say he broke into the same town of Mamakating house twice within a couple of days. And after the second alleged break-in last Friday, 23-year-old Thomas Pascal of Pine Bush was arrested and charged with 2 felony counts of burglary. Pascal was sent to Sullivan County Jail without bail. Investigators say several stolen items have been recovered, and they say additional charges are likely to be filed. Governor Andrew Cuomo continues to ride a wave of popularity. Results from a Siena College research poll out this week show 70% of those surveyed give him a positive rating. The 12th time in 17 months Cuomo was given a favorable rating of at least 70%. The majority of the Cuomo backers gave him credit for making state government run more effectively. The survey also showed that 77% of those responding favor an increase in the state's minimum wage. Not your normal school day at Greenwood Lake Elementary and middle schools, where about 600 students took part in an anti-bullying march this morning. The march was designed to draw attention to the problem of in-school bullying and efforts to curtail it. Today's march, led by police and fire personnel as well as members of a local motorcycle group. March was to be followed by a pep rally at Helen Kelly Field with speakers including Greenwood Lake Mayor Barbara Moore. The student march comes amid word that state legislative leaders are close to a deal on a measure that would crack down on cyberbullying in schools and through social media that would include immunity from civil lawsuits for good faith reporting of cyberbullying. And in the town of Woodbury, the search is on for a shoplifter who was able to get away from a store security officer after biting him. It happened late Monday afternoon at the Saks Fifth Avenue store at Woodbury Common. Police say the man was attempting to steal clothing when the store's loss prevention officer tried to arrest him outside the store. Now, despite being handcuffed around a wrist, the man repeatedly bit the officer, then ran off. Store employee had to be treated at an area hospital. Woodbury police say evidence collected at the scene should help them ID the suspect. You'll need to keep a raincoat and umbrella handy. Rain is expected to continue into Wednesday morning with a bit of partial clearing by afternoon. And the highs will be up around 80 degrees. Thursday's weather will feature more clouds and the threat of showers with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Make Record Online your source for breaking news and read tomorrow's Times-Herald Record to get caught up on all that's happening. For Record Newswatch, I'm Tracy Baxter.